here, episode 250 of Sherman the Booth, guys. Cheers. Yes. Thank you guys for being here. Let me take a sip. That would be disrespectful.
Is this mine?
Yeah.
Sick.
Olivia is low alcohol, whatever the fuck that means.
That's what we talked about when I
Take a
was on
sip.
the
Take a
podcast.
sip.
Okay, I'll take a sip.
I'm
Cheers.
an enabler. Who here has been enabled by me at one point in their life? That's right. That's right. Max is here. We did a, sorry, I'm not going to apologize. Max let me do the power hour recently. We had some of the guys here. That was so much fun. But, yeah, that's right. 7 beers in 1 hour. Ray, this is just going to be, I'm just going to tell stories about people for a few minutes here. Last time we did a power hour was 2020, November 2020. We did it at my old apartment. We had it all set up. I think, Ray, we did a shot of liquor every 10 minutes as well, didn't we? This dude, yeah, this was a crazy time. We went over to our friends, and we kept drinking. It was like Puerto Rican New Year, whatever it is. You know what I mean? When, like, the streets are just fucking honking, and it's just crazy. Biden had just won? Puerto Rican New Year, I guess, same thing. Same. And Ray, we're like walking home. He's like, I'm going to boosted board home. I'm like, that is like the worst idea you could ever have. And he's like, no, I'm good. And then I get a text the next morning at like 6 in the morning. He's like, I broke my arm. I was like, who boosted boards after a power hour? And then didn't you like go into your bed and was like, I think my arm really hurts. I should probably go to the hospital. These are the caliber of my friends who supported me along the way. Anyway, we might edit this out, but probably not. A few people I want to thank before we start. Firstly, my wife, Maya, of course. She has been very supportive and has heard me talk for hours upon end in another room or in the same room laughing at jokes that she doesn't understand. And, well, you can't even hear the context of the conversation, so I'm just like laughing and cackling and, whatever the fuck, however my laugh is. But she's been such an important person in my life, supporting me along the way. And I was talking about it this weekend with people in Denver. People are like fascinated that I'm married as a DJ. It's like not a thing at all. They're like, tell me about your wife. I was like, yep. High school girlfriend, locked her down. Here I am now. And we've known each other now. We just realized 15 years. I took her to prom, or homecoming, prom. Fuck, I should know that. Prom, 15 years ago. So Maya has seen the journey and been there for me. Make some noise for Maya, guys. I want to thank my video editor, Suzette, who is based in South Africa. She is amazing. She's been working with me since episode 71. She has helped me with so many different types of content. She probably knows me better than anybody else, actually, because she's literally listened to every single episode of Sherman the Booth since 71. She knows a lot about me. She's amazing. She watches this, and I thank you so much, Suzette. You are amazing. Make some noise for Suzette. That's right. That's right. I want to thank my good friend here, Tony. He's going to hate that I'm thanking him in public. He does not like any attention. But Tony was a very, very important person for me. I think he started helping me out around episode 50 or 60 when I kind of just flying by the seat of my pants. I remember one time we had done a podcast episode. I don't remember if it was after we started filming, but it was me and our good friend Dominic, who a lot of you guys know. And we were having whiskey late on a Tuesday night. And we were talking about, like, what's the future of Sherman the Booth? Tony had so many good ideas, things that I wasn't even thinking about. He pushed me to be consistent. He pushed me to have video. He was the one that was recording all of these podcast episodes before I ever invested in these cameras that record for as long as possible, run on their own battery. Tony would literally 3 cameras go around. One camera would die. He would replace the battery. He would replace the memory card. Another camera would die. He would replace the battery. He would replace the memory card. He did that for at least 30 episodes, 30 or 40 episodes probably. And he is just such an important person for me and making me the person I am today. Tony, I want to say thank you so much, man. Very, very important guy. Great guy. And I tell stories about our time in the music industry, about how we rented subwoofers from Guitar Center and pushed the seats up in Dominic's Toyota Camry so we could put the subwoofers in the back. We carried them up to the second floor of Broken English where I banged my knee on every single fucking step just so we could DJ house music. And it was all worth it. And when I think back to those days, I realized that I was building a community, and it's something that I've appreciated so much more, especially in the last 2 years. So Chicago means a lot to me, and it's just great to be here in Chicago on fucking Halstead in Chicago. It's fucking grungy over here and shit, and we're in this loft, and yeah, it feels good. But As many of you know, I usually interview myself on episode 100 and 200, but I felt like 250 was a big one. Instead of me interviewing myself, which is exhausting to do, by the way, I wanted to have someone else who was very important to me, Olivia Mancuso, who co-founded Chicago Music Nexus with me. She is an expert in her field, and she is so impressive, and she's so amazing. So she's going to be interviewing me today. We have questions from people that got submitted. You guys can ask questions if you want to as well. But make some noise for Olivia, guys.
Hi, guys. It was an honor that you asked me to do this. I met Sherm in 2020, I think.
Oh, yeah.
When I was hosting Rooftop Drops, which were sets around various rooftops in Chicago. And Sherm kind of felt like this celebrity to me when I met him. He's got Sherm in the booth. He's like this suave guy. And I met him and I was like, oh, he's just a guy. He's just a guy.
Just a half Jew from Indiana, yeah.
And he's just a cool, approachable guy. And I had no idea back then, it had been some years. Then when I started my podcast, he reached out to me to be on his podcast. And I went into the home and I didn't meet Maya because Maya was probably like, get these fucking people out of my house at 7 o'clock at night. And it started this amazing friendship and business partnership. And I'm so honored that you asked me.
Of course, Olivia. Yeah. You're the best person for the job, for sure.
Thank you. All right,
she keeps me humble, that's for sure. Yes.
I know. I keep him accountable. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a two-person job, right?
Yeah.
So why don't we jump in?
Let's do it.
Let's take me back to the beginning. Why did you even want to do this? Because podcasting is a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, I started Sherman the Booth in September of 2016, so 9 years ago, which is crazy. I mean, podcasts weren't really a thing. Podcasting started just over 20 years ago in general. But I remember starting it because I really wanted to break into the Chicago music industry. It was so hard for me to make connections, meet people, have genuine conversations. One-on-one connection is so important to me. And there was really no way for me to get my name out there. Because I started DJing in college at IU where, my frat basically gave me all my gigs. And I was like, sick, I'm open for Capsule App and blah. Like, well, going to Chicago is going to be a walk in the park. And basically everyone was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, you're drunk. It's 11 p.m. Like, I'm not getting you a gig, kid. And I was like, okay, this isn't going well. And I always had a passion for radio and television. Been getting told my whole life I have a voice for the radio, and I think that podcasting is modern day radio. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start talking and see what happens. And if you listen to episode 1 of Sherm in the Booth, it is hilarious. First off, it was in the booth with Sherm, which is a mouthful. That's why I have 2 emails, inthebooth.sherm@gmail.com, which is my spam email now. Yes. And then I think in episode 3, I was like, this is too much. But if you listen to episode 1, it is wild. I was like, I'm going to be a cool house DJ and talk about what I'm doing in my gigs and all this stuff.
Did you have a guest?
No.
It was just you.
Nope. Tony was the first guest.
Oh.
Tony was the first guest, and it was like, I was like, this is so stupid. Like, what am I doing? I mean, I'm literally in my room, and it was so funny. My mom bought me a little microphone, a little Shure microphone. I think B-Harp actually has one still. They go into your phone, and I would do interviews with people like this. We'd literally sit wherever and at my desk.
Like hovered over a campfire.
Yes, so strange. Very weird, and we're both talking. We're about to kiss. We're so close to this fucking microphone. And, yeah, I actually forgot about that, Tony. He was doing a project called Hypno Disco at that point, I think. Long time ago. Anyway, we went over to Tony's house, and we just we should go back and listen to that. Tony would never. He wants me to remove it from the internet, actually, but no, it's still up there. And I realized I was like, okay, I actually like having these conversations with people. So then I just started interviewing some of my friends who were DJs. Episodes started rolling in. I think by episode 25, I had interviewed 10 people or something like that. And then I realized I was like, wow, I'm actually getting opportunities. I'm actually meeting people that I respect. I'm actually feeling connected to the industry because where I came from in Bloomington, Indiana, Indianapolis, there was no one that was DJing. So this whole scene was completely new to me. I knew I had a passion for music and for DJing and podcasting and making music. And I was like, how do I just combine these all into one? Sherm in the Booth. This is perfect.
Yeah. So your mission in the beginning was to gain access to opportunities. Basically, the concept we talk about all the time is booking yourself. But has that changed now that you're 250 in, the mission?
The mission has absolutely changed. I definitely had a lot of ups and downs with the podcast. I mean, to be doing something for 9 years, 250 episodes in, 10,000 hours of content is like absolutely insane. And I think really only in the last 2 years have I felt so connected to what I'm doing, because now I actually realize this podcast, it's not for anybody else but me. And I think that's so important as an artist or a creator in any sense of the word, because you're not going to be able to go the distance unless you're enjoying what you're doing. 9 years of this, 10 or 11 years in the music industry, I wouldn't still be here doing this if I wasn't having fun. So the mission has changed, and I think it's to always give a platform to artists or creators or whoever it is. I've had lots of different people on Sherman the Booth for them to tell their story. And I realized, wow, I'm listening to people give me advice inadvertently almost. So I'm so present. I'm genuinely curious. I want to learn. I want to help. And what's come out of Sherman the Booth is, I mean, it's unbelievable when I think back to it. Chicago Music Nexus started on a podcast, just a natural conversation.
It's crazy.
My involvement with Hood Politics Records started on a podcast.
Oh, really?
Because I was interviewing DJ Susan, because I'd interviewed Chris Diaz.
Okay.
Of
and
course.
that led you to Sue.
Led me to Sue.
Wow.
Susan talked at me for an hour and a half. But it was a great time. And then we became fast friends. And he was like, because I had been interviewing so many artists that were on Hood Politics, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, tell me about this label, and everyone was telling me about their experience with Hood Politics. And finally, when I had Susan on, I was like, this is amazing. And then he reached out to me and said, I want you to join the team in some way. I started doing interviews with artists that were releasing on the label in like 2021. So it was a genuine way to get involved. Opportunities that have come at it from the DJ world, I mean, countless. Some people that I'm heavily involved with now, shout out to Collective Presents. My friend Isaiah was on the podcast in 2021 when the world was dead. We became friends, and now I work with the team, and now, they help me get gigs all over the country. And you realize that when you give people who may not be trying to put themselves out there, they're very humbled by that. And that's really cool, because I feel like when I was growing up, especially in high school and middle school, be Harpo like this, right? Like, I always felt connected to the people that maybe weren't the most popular. Because, like, at first, I wasn't really, like, that popular and stuff,
Same.
And I always liked having those conversations with the kids in the corner. And I realized that, like, that's a lot of people in the music industry. They don't feel connected. They're creative, but they don't know how to get themselves out there. And when I just started talking to these people, it just felt so real. And that was the best part for me.
It's a great way to make friends. You don't realize it, but you're in an intimate, focused conversation for an hour plus.
Yeah.
You come out like knowing something about someone that you would never get from having a conversation at a bar.
Yeah, you know that. A 30-minute one-on-one conversation with someone, even if it's a podcast at a festival like I've done before, I make up enough time for 2 years of relationship development running into these people at the clubs and the festivals or whatever it is. Propa, Jonah right here is a great example. We had an amazing podcast episode, and so many times I walk out of that like it's my new best friend. And that is just like such a cool thing for me, because I care so much about my friends, and I care so much about the people that have come on the podcast. And that's been one of the most exciting parts for me, is like, I know if someone comes on Sherman the Booth, we're going to be friends. They might not know it yet, but we will be. And I think that's one of the coolest parts for me now, for sure.
Yeah. What have you learned about yourself from having all these conversations?
I'm a fucking idiot. No, I've had so much fun. I think that I've realized, I think that I'm like my dad in a lot of ways, and genuinely curious and interested. And he was a very successful doctor who wanted to help people. And I think in that way, I also am passionate about helping others. But my mom is also very much like a people person, and like, extroverted, and wants to serve and wants to help and wants to make sure you drink enough wine and margaritas and pumpkin bread and fucking pizza or
She's
whatever
the
the
best.
fuck, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing that in a lot of different ways. So I've realized it's been really cool to connect with my parents in that way, knowing that like I'm exploiting the fullness of my personality on Sherman the Booth. So I've really like learned who I am, and it's helped me a lot in a lot of different ways. I've had the same day job for 10 years as a salesman, as a broker, right? Like selling people on a dream. That's kind of what I'm doing as an artist, and especially with the podcast. Like, it's ridiculous, like all this stuff. But it's taught me a lot about myself, and it's like I love who I am, and I feel very comfortable with that.
That's beautiful. And there's so much you learn from your guests that stick with you. You're like, wow, I never thought of this that way or whatever, when it comes to production or just like how to run your career, is there anything over the 200 plus guests that has stuck with you that you're like, okay, I'm taking this to the grave. This is good information?
Yeah, I mean, so much information. I feel like when you have these podcast interviews, you actually talk about your failures a lot more than your success, because there's a lot more to talk about, right? Because especially in the electronic music world, you know, there's a lot of people in here. Jake is a good example. You have these big gigs, you have a lot of success. The next day you're like, fuck, what's next? I feel lost, right? But getting through those tough times with others, sharing those stories. I mean, I think Elevated Frequencies does a great job of this, right? Like telling the stories of failure and how these artists got to where they're at. That's what I'm trying to share. I'm trying to help people save time in their layers of success. You know, we got Galena crew right here, right? These are young, talented guys. I want to help them get better. And I think that's what Sherman the Booth has become. It's become really is sort of like an advice forum. Like, here's what not to do. And through that, I've learned not what to do. And it's helped me so much. So, you know, the people that have been on the podcast over the years, it's incredible. I think the first big artist I had was Sid, and I was so fucking nervous. I literally listened to every single track in his discography, and I like had all these questions, and I was like, okay, 2-time Grammy Award nominated. Like, okay, he's done this, he's done that. I didn't ask one fucking question from the question sheet because it was such a natural conversation. After that, I used to get really stressed about preparing for interviews. Like, I wanted to be the guy that was like asking them questions they've never been asked before and asking them about the first song they've ever released. And honestly, that was putting a ticking time bomb on Sherman the Booth. I was so stressed trying to like release content and put it out and get great interviews. And I put so much effort into something that I didn't enjoy, and then I would post the clips and they wouldn't do well. And then I realized, well, why the fuck would anybody care about that? Because I don't even care about that. Why don't I just jump into these conversations just like I do, you know, on a sales call or with a new person at a festival or a club or at a bar, whatever it is. And so I realized, like, that's the real me. That's the real Sherm. So I've realized people actually don't want to be asked those questions. What inspires you?
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be asked that. I care about what inspires you, but you're going to tell me what inspires you in your own way.
Yeah. But it takes going through the repetitions and having those bad interviews or not so great interviews to realize what you shouldn't be asking. Like, you had to go through that to get to the good, juicy stuff. Was there, I'm curious because I know we'll have different answers because it's a plethora of things. Like, what has been the most frustrating hurdle that you now feel accomplished from like the logistics side of having a podcast? Because cameras don't work. Like,
I've been checking these red lights the whole time to make sure they're on. Yeah.
No, it's like you like have a nervous tick. I swear, I'm the same way.
Yeah. In terms of like hacks, you mean? Like,
yeah. Like what's been the biggest hurdle to get over just producing a podcast?
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, Jesus, I've been in Logic for hours and hours editing the audio.
You saved the day on our Nexus.
I
videos.
did, yes. Send me audio that you don't think is salvageable, and I will fix that bitch. Yeah, absolutely. I've learned so many things about the production aspect of podcasting. It is actually what I went to college for, so chase your dreams, guys. Media school at IU.
There you go.
Design and production. I even though what I learned back then is so fucking outdated, it's hilarious. Like, literally by the time I started podcasting, I was like, yeah, I know Adobe Premiere. I know how to manage cameras. I know how to do all this stuff. Like, my professor would shit his pants if he saw these cameras, like, back then, literally.
Yeah. No, by the time you graduate, it's already outdated.
It's already outdated, so I'm sorry to kids out there, but, like, it's tough.
It's the truth. That's why YouTube University is a thing.
YouTube University is a thing. But you really realize you got to put it all in your own hands. Outsourcing was a very important thing for me. Tony is someone that pushed me to do that. He's actually the one that found Suzette on Fiverr. I remember we had the call in Left Coast Foods on Wells on my lunch. Literally had a call with someone in South Africa, Suzette. Tony's there. He's like, this is Suzette. I'm like, hey, Suzette. She's like, hey, Shum.
That's a good accent.
Yeah. And the second that I started outsourcing, and I know that I just talked to Jonah about this actually recently. Outsourcing can be an expense, but it also can be the way to, I feel like, stay in touch with the real thing that matters, which is the passion, the creativity. So outsource what you can. I wish I would have done that earlier. I send her everything. I just get the footage, I compress it, I send it all her way. She edits it, she uploads it to YouTube. I now use, I'm sure we'll get into this, I now use AI tools to clip the episodes for me, and then I just rinse and repeat that stuff.
Yeah.
So I definitely have learned a lot about like how to put a podcast together. I mean, it's a full-on production. It's crazy.
No, I don't think people realize how much work goes into it.
So much.
Because it's long form content. We're so used to short. That's why most podcasts peter out after 4 to 6 weeks. I think, Jonah, you told me the stat once. It's like most podcasts just shit the bed after 2 months. Yeah.
Not even. I can't tell you how many people have hit me up to say, I want to start a podcast. Can I hop on a call with you?
Good
Olivia
luck.
taught me charge that shit. I did not
I
charge
did.
for any. Yeah, I did not charge.
Always charge that shit.
Yeah, and people just don't follow through because it is a lot more work than you think.
Yeah. So what are your go-to tools? I know you use AI, but how do you keep putting out high quality content?
Well, I feel like if you think about what a podcast is, we've already done 50 clips worth of stuff right here, right?
Yep.
So I actually like long content because I feel like it feels more natural. And I think that's why people like to come on a podcast, because they actually get to settle into themselves. Jake and I have had a lot of great podcasts before where we've done one on Instagram Live. We've done it in person. I like to do podcasts in places. I've gone to many different studios. Trey Mortimer is a great producer from Chicago. I went to this legendary rap studio called Goat House, which closed because there was a shooting. So that's very Chicago. But like to go to these studios and you walk in, I'm like the little dude like, hey, I'm here to do a podcast. But you sort of go into these environments and you're like, okay, I like going into this. You have these really cool just setups and stuff. And now I've done them in my room. Now I do them in my media room. Shout out to the media room. See you tomorrow. Go Pacers. But I feel like those are things that I've learned. Don't always make it such a perfect thing and don't worry so much, because just put it out there, see how it goes, and just have fun.
Yeah. And then shout out the mics we're wearing.
Shout out to, oh my God, that's so true, Olivia. Yeah, the technology guys. I know I sound old.
Who got them first?
Olivia.
What? Oh, I did? Okay, good.
100%.
I put you on.
I definitely copied her a lot. That's
okay. I copy you too.
Yeah.
It's crazy how great these mics are. If anyone could sponsor us, this is who I'd go for.
These mics can connect into your phone and record high quality audio from all the way over there. I used to have to match all the audio and stuff.
Yeah. DJI.
Yeah. DJI.
Sponsor Nexus, please.
Please give us something. Y'all got drones. Y'all got mics. I could use it all. Yeah. But these are really good tools too. That's one thing too. On a panel that I hosted in Denver on Saturday, one of the panelists on there, housewife, she was unique in the sense where she wanted to become an artist and a DJ, and she just bought everything. She bought the CDJ, she bought the cameras, and I know not everybody can do that, but I wish I would have worked towards those saving goals and actually committed. I mean, literally, it took me way too long to get these cameras. Thank you, Tony, again. But I got these cameras during COVID, and I literally hired a podcast consultant, and he was like, do this, and I still have all the same equipment. I can have it for years to come. So it's an investment for sure.
Yeah, but it's so worth it. So what about the mental side of things? Because sometimes I know that you're a very outgoing, you're an extrovert, but sometimes you just, after a long day, especially having a day job, you don't want to sit and have an hour, 2 hour conversation at 7:00 at night. So how do you get through those humps? Because I would like to know for myself.
Well, in the summer, you got to wait till the sun goes down till about 8:30. So, I'm talking to my fucking head off till 10:30. And then I get up at 7 and go talk my head off all day again. So I'm a talking head. Yeah, that's what I am. But I think there was a really interesting period of time from episode probably 125 to 175. It was COVID. There were some cool interviews going on. There was fun stuff. But I was like, is anybody fucking listening to these conversations? It was a weird time in the world, obviously. I think everyone was distracted in their own way. But I had some dark moments. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't think anybody cares. I don't think anybody's listening. And who was listening were the people that cared. And those people would reach out randomly and say, when's the next term in the booth? Lots of different types of people from all over the country, people in Chicago, people in different parts of the world. And they're like, I really like this interview. You gave great advice, blah, blah, blah. So you never know if somebody's listening. I think that goes when you're a producer. You make a song, it gets 100 streams, and you're like, I just put 1 million streams worth of effort into that song and marketing, and nothing happened. But what if actually 100 real people saw that or listened to it or whatever it is? And I think we were talking to DJ Susan about it. It's even if you post a reel or any piece of content, 100 views may not seem like anything, but what if it's 100 people in a room like this? That's worth it.
Totally.
So I kind of had a realization of, I'm enjoying this. Somebody is getting something out of this, and I just continued on.
Yeah. What about your favorite guest? What made him your favorite guest? What made the conversation so memorable?
Oh my God.
It's always who you least expect.
Honestly, shout out to Strategy. He came in. I had a bunch of questions ready. He had a fucking ridiculous outfit on, and we talked about Curb Your Enthusiasm for 45 minutes.
That's amazing.
And it was at that point where I was like, I'm having the time of my life right now. Literally, like just one-on-one conversation with people. And you realize that like it's not supposed to be so serious. And it was like after one of those interviews that I was like, you know what? Like this is so much fun. I'm having an absolute blast. And what was really cool was when people would reach out to me that were definitely credible. John Summit's videographer, Mason Ripple, who had just started working with John at this point, I think it was early 2022. He hit me up. He said, dude, I love Sherman the Booth. Like, I would love to come on it. I want to talk about all these things that I'm doing. I was like, oh, that's fucking sick. All right, yeah, you come on over. Come on over, baby. Second time I've sang that today.
When was the first?
Just on the way over here. I don't know, because good song. But people would approach me, and then you've experienced this as well. Like, these PR teams will hit us up and we'll be like, hey,
That's
I have this artist that wants to come on your podcast. Here's like a whole description of them. And when people started reaching out to me, I was like, okay.
Thank you for doing the work for me. It's the best and the worst because sometimes they'll reach out.
Yeah,
and
you
don't
want
to interview the person. You're like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So then I have to interview. But then you're like, if I interview this person, maybe they'll give me that.
Yes, and it can lead to other opportunities as well.
It's a surprise. Like sometimes it's like, oh, I don't know, and then I end up having a great conversation.
And having the podcast has become a huge tool for me for opportunities, like I said. So I went to ADE in 2022. Tony was too hungover to come.
Damn, Tony.
On Friday morning, he just said, I'm good, bro. I had to drink 8 sparkling waters to get through this panel, but I was waiting to talk to this guy named Evan Bailey, who was like the VP at Ubby Dubby. Tony is the one who said I need to go talk to him. Literally, have you guys ever been in the situation where like you're about to talk to someone and you're like having a heat flash and you're hungover and you're like, fuck, fuck. I'm the last person to talk to him because I like had to go get another sparkling water. I was living on these sparkling waters. They're so good though. They're so fucking good. And I talked to him. It was a great conversation. I get his email. I follow up with him for a year. And I'm like, what can I offer this guy? What can I offer this guy? Why don't he come on my podcast, right? Comes on the podcast. We have an amazing conversation. He's a super cool dude. He's from Ohio. We have all these random Midwest connections, right? And then I keep following up, and I kept sending him ideas like, hey, I want to do Sherman the Booth at a festival. And eventually it worked out, and I did Sherman the Booth at Ubby Dubby, and I interviewed all these incredible artists. It was so much fun. And I realized, I was like, that all came from me going to ADE, 1, 2, standing in that line, super hungover and going way past my limits. And then 3, offering him an episode on my podcast. This guy's never been on a podcast before. So it was so cool. And after that, I realized this is a tool for me, and it's a tool for them as well. So It can be whatever you want it to be. People always say, like, there's enough podcasters out there. Now there's not enough DJs. Now there's too many podcasters. Yeah. There's always going to be too many of something. I tell you, half of these podcasters aren't going to stick around, so whatever. But that's why it's so cool to be here now. 250 episodes is like, I've been doing this thing, you know?
Yeah. No, you like, it is such a sneaky little tool because it's flattering, right? You ask someone to be on especially if it's not an artist, if it's someone in the back end of the scene, behind the scenes, you give them a platform and they bring in an amazing perspective and often are more unfiltered. Because they don't need to have like a PR strategy.
You've experienced that.
Yeah, and it's great. So
it gets you in. It gets you in.
Mm-hmm. It's gotten me in places. It's gotten us in places a lot faster because artists, they're too busy and like they don't really have anything to offer in that.
They're tired. They're traveling. They're all this stuff. We totally get it.
So is there anything that you've learned from your interviews that you've applied to your work, like in A&R, just working with a record label?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to being inspired as a producer, everyone is struggling with the same things. Everyone is struggling with the same things, with fatigue, with imposter syndrome, with trying to do this, trying to do that, like going basically dark for a year or more sometimes, right? What brings them back? So when it comes to how I apply it at Hood Politics Records, it's really cool for me to hear what could be in a track instead of where it's at already. That's very, very exciting for me. Because sometimes what I do is I want to get to know this artist. I want to know who they are, where they're from, what they're about, and a lot of times it turns into a relationship. There's a great example, the Curly Heads boys. There are these dudes from New York. They're absolutely fucking ridiculous. One's super tall, one's super short. And they talk like this, bro, like fucking New York, Long Beach. Like, they're ridiculous, right? And they were hitting up Hood Politics Records for years. They were submitting demos. They were coming to our shows. They came all the way to Florida to see us at a festival. And I remember being them, like, keep saying this music. This is really good. Like, it's getting better, and getting to know them as a person. And I realized I was like, I'm kind of like interviewing them a little bit. Like, it's a little Sherman the Booth. I'm getting to know them. Like, what are you guys doing this for? What's the whole point? And they just literally wanted to be a part of the Hood Politics family. And now they're the guys that stay with us at Miami Music Week. And I think that's so cool and that's so special. So I've learned that everybody deserves a chance, just like I've given people chances on Sherman the Booth.
Yeah, that's amazing. So what about, because you wear so many hats, what about the conference? How has the podcast kind of influenced Chicago Music Nexus, and what's the relationship there?
Well, one of the conversations that happened that late Tuesday night, was it scotch or whiskey, Tony? Because I was fucked. It was whiskey. Tony and Dominic said, what you're doing is developing a talent for speaking on the microphone and entertaining. And I was like, yeah, that's true. But where do I go with that? And it's like, well, you could be sort of this freelance MC or panel host or moderator or whatever it is. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And then I realized, wow, like, okay, this is like, I'm getting better at talking, right? Like the art of conversation. I listen. I don't speak so much, right? Like, and I was learning that in sales as well. Like, it's so important to just like be present and listen. And now it's led me to developing a incredible conference with Olivia in Chicago where we're running these panels, where I moderated a panel at ADE a year after I was just like that kid who showed up. And it's been very, very cool for me to be like, I'm really good at this and I love this so much. Like, this is like, I love this. I think this is so awesome. It's so much fun. And with Chicago Music Nexus, it's like these panelists that are coming, we were like it. A lot of these things have happened for Olivia and I, especially Winter Music Conference as well, because we've had these people on our podcast, and the industry is so small. Mm-hmm. And they're like, you got to have Sherm, you got to have Olivia. Like, they know what they're doing. And when I moderated this panel at Winter Music Conference this year, it was just like the dopest fucking thing. Like 2020, Tony and I were going to go, and then COVID happened, and I kept renewing my ticket. And it was like 2021, all right, we're not back. 2022, all right, we're not back. 23, I was like, give me my money back. So I was like, wait, when is this going to happen? 2025, I was a moderator.
Yeah. It's amazing how fast it could happen.
It's crazy.
And didn't it energize you? It did for me. I was like, our conference is going to be so fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, it really, like, it was an amazing time, but it's so cool to see how you're building something different. And everybody in the industry is friends. Like, all the podcasters we're also friends with. Yeah. People like Emma, Lizzie. Like, it's just so cool that it is tight-knit, because we're all borrowing from each other. We're all helping each other out. Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing. It's
really special. And, I felt like for a long time I was expecting to run into more podcasters that I didn't know where they were, and I realized there just weren't that many. There weren't that many. There's a ton of artists out there, but I think that's what makes Olivia and I a great team. I come from the artist side, and she comes from the entrepreneurship and business side, and like, it's just, we just did a podcast the other day that was like, we just sat down and started talking, and I think it's an enhanced and perfected trait that you try and work towards, right? Like, Michael Jordan was born with the gift of skill in basketball, but he worked every single day. That's what I'm doing with Sherman the Booth. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I know that I keep getting better at this, and I keep having more fun, and it's just an absolute blast. So, we want Chicago Music Nexus to be taking over the convention center in 5 years, and I don't see why that's not possible.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
Is there a dream guest that any of these ventures?
Tyrese Halliburton, but
besides, I thought that's basketball. I thought we weren't talking about sports tonight.
Yeah, you're right, but
I requested that specifically.
That is my answer.
Okay, but who would be your second choice?
My second choice. My gosh, I think just from an artist perspective, I'd really like to have MK on the show. I don't think a lot of people understand the imprint he has on dance music, period. All the people that he makes music for. Like, he's one of those guys to me that like should be a lot bigger based on the skill and his footprint and all of his talent and stuff, but like, he just kind of like does his thing, and he's just like the man, like, he's just like the man. Huge inspiration for me too, MK, definitely. So he would be awesome. That would be
Put it out there. He would say yes.
I think he would.
I bet he would say yes.
I would be pretty starstruck, honestly. He's like
You
super
gotta
tall
reach-
too,
I know.
and I'm
And
like,
he looks like 25, but he's like 50 something.
he does.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I met him on the street. No way he remembers that, but Miami, you just walk along Collins Avenue, and it's just like every big
course.
DJ, and it's like, "What's up, MK?" But yeah, that would be a good one. And who else? I don't know. That's the thing. I don't even I have some ideas for who's coming up next, and that's the really cool thing about the podcast is I used to be like, okay, let's lock in all these interviews. It's cool, and we do this with Hood Politics Records too. We leave room in the schedule, so I leave room in my schedule for something that might happen. And I want to interview really big artists, but I also just want to make sure that who I'm talking to, I'm excited about. So the volume has dipped a little bit, but the excitement and the passion has gone so far up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such an important balance to strike.
It really is. It's tough.
So what's next? Do you have any new directions you want to take? Anything you want to try for these next 250?
I kind of want to start another podcast, actually.
What?
Yeah. I want to do 1 million podcasts, actually.
I am not going to allow that because
Well.
we have too much work to do with Nexus.
Well,
And Maya wants to go on vacation and enjoy her life.
yes. I know we were going to talk about basketball, but I'm just
Oh my God. A basketball
I have
podcast?
a sports podcast with my friends because I feel like no matter what you do, put your passion out there. And I just am so passionate about a lot of things. I would have a podcast talking to people about their golden retrievers. That would be absolutely electric.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I
It doesn't
support
have to
that.
be the NBA every single day, but I just want to do something that's not always, and it's kind of funny because Sherman the Booth has morphed. If you guys listen to any recent episodes, it's so funny how the conversation, it's a real conversation, It's
Yeah.
it bounces around. I have points I was trying to make. And just the last couple one, I just had on 249 this Arab Palestinian girl named Nanus who's from Detroit and lives in Chicago, and she's fucking the shit. But we're complete opposites, but we have the same birthday, and just this weird cosmic connection with someone. And I only had her on because I've been following her recently. I was like, this girl's awesome. Just come on over. And it's just you never know who you're gonna fucking meet and have a conversation with, and that's just the really really fun and exciting part about Sherman the Booth. That's so unexpected to me every time. And why I don't put so much pressure on myself to find every track they've ever released and go deep on their content. Let them talk about what they want to talk about, and let me just get to know them.
That's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing.
Well, I think it's time we get to Q&A. from
Let's
the
do a little
audience. What do you
Q&A.
think? Yeah.
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 Well, I have some questions. Should we do the questions first?
Yeah,
Or
do you want-
do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, because we have them from people who submitted online. So what do you want to do? Do you want to do audience questions first?
We'll do audience questions
Okay.
first, yes. And then when they get stale, because, kidding.
Who's got? Well, I know we have questions from Galena crew here.
Beard care, dude, I have a sob story to share, man. My barber is retiring, and it's breaking my
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
heart. Jose Luis is retiring. I only have 2 more haircuts with him, and all walls are coming down. I'm not going to lie. It's fucking awful news.
Did you throw a pop-up there, too?
Yes,
Yeah, you're
yes.
committed to this place.
I am the most loyal motherfucker you ever met in your life. I'm not going to lie. I've
golden
worked at the same
retriever.
company for 10 years. I have been doing a podcast for 9. I have been going to the same barber every 2 weeks for
Same
10
girl
years.
since you were 15.
Same girl since I was 15.
Easily, yeah. Literally a golden retriever. Yeah. Yep.
I wanted to. I wanted to. I've asked him many times, honestly. I know his whole life story, though, so I could probably just do, a story read about him. But no, that's funny you asked that, Jonah, because he helped me connect the beard here, actually. I used to have the, yeah. Yeah.
It has more to do with genetics.
No, there's a strategy. You can do this shit. He told me exactly how to do it. He kept shaving it all the way down, and then he would tell me to keep growing out to an uncomfortable amount, and then finally it connected. I was like, holy shit. You should see some old press pictures of me. I look like a fucking Mexican, dude. It's it's just right here, and I was I remember I was sunburnt too, and it was is that Sherm? No, it's not. People think I'm Greek, people think I'm Spanish, people think I'm Italian, but I'm really just a Jew.
Oh my God. All right, moving on. Do we have any other
Good
questions?
question. Good question.
Yeah,
That went
thanks for
off.
kicking us
That went absolutely off the boards.
All right,
yeah.
what about let's do one from Galena crew. This is a little more serious. How to find a healthy release schedule, waiting for labels versus self-releasing, remix versus originals. Oh, I know you got a lot to say about this.
Yeah. I'm a huge advocate of just releasing your music. The most successful streaming song I've ever had, I self-released. And I think that when you self-release, you buy in so much more to that when it's making content, when it's getting on playlists, when it's collaborating, whatever it is, because a lot of people expect a label to do everything for you. They're going to get you booked at a festival. They're going to get you on Mint. They're going to get you your track on Dom Dolla's USB. Like, I'm telling you, and Jonah's a great example of this, like, we release music. We don't really know what's going to happen with it, okay? We're not promising the world here, just FYI. You need to release music that's you. And however you got to do that, you got to do that. Because I think 5 years ago, releasing on a label, even before that, if you released on a well-known label in 2018, you would likely get a tour around the United States on the right label, and you would, because there was just that much credibility with dance music labels. Now, everybody's got a label, and I think that's cool because they're giving themselves a platform to do that, but there's so much competition out there. And the only way for you to get yourself out there is to keep putting yourself out there. Propa's probably one of the best examples that I know, Jake as well. These guys just put out music on SoundCloud. I just interviewed Burnout, who has put out 90 remixes in 5 years, and he has them all on Bandcamp. He doesn't even know how fucking awesome he is, right? I was like bowing down to him. And that's the funny thing. You put yourself out there, people will find it. And you're doing yourself a disservice if you're waiting on labels to get back to you. Because, one, they might not all get back to you. Two, unless you're making noise already, you're not going to be as appealing if they don't know who you are. And three, you need to get yourself out there in any way possible. I've talked to Max Wagner about this a lot, too. Max has put out a lot of his own music. I think I've encouraged you to self-release, right? That's right. And so I strongly believe in self-releasing. I mean, I'm lucky to be the A&R of Hood Politics. I just slot that shit. So, yes, I release on a label, but I also put out my own music, too. And I think, like, I just always encourage artists, you're like, do not just leave it on the hard drive. Do not just put it out, or don't just not release it. Just put it out. And you never know what's going to work, too. You really never know. Jake's having a song re-blow up right now, Nights Like These, right? Like, a year later. No one's going to listen to it. Yeah, there's real community out there that you won't reach for sure if you don't put your music out there, but I know we've talked about that a lot, so you guys do a great job of this too. And you're getting great label releases as well. Do both.
Yeah. So follow up to that, networking, is that the key to consistent bookings? And like, we talk about networking all the time because there's not a lot of places to do it.
I talk about this a lot. I wasted a lot of time looking at who was backstage than who was in front of me. Okay, you go chasing the promoters and the talent buyers and trying to get gigs. You know what they care about, especially these days more than ever? Do you have fans? Are you going to sell tickets?
Right.
Get booked for the wrong reason. It comes up all the time now, right? The vanity metrics. You have 1 million Instagram followers. You got 10 million Spotify monthly listeners, but you can't sell 10 tickets to your hometown show.
Yeah.
So what do you really want as a musician? Do you want to be a touring artist? Are you okay being successful online and stuff? Is your main source of income being a musician? You really just have to define your path. And I feel like that's something that a lot of artists don't know what to do because everyone sees these big DJs touring. And you got to realize these big acts, we're talking about 25 acts probably when it really comes down to it, that dominate these lineups that people come out to see. And you never know who's going to be the next one because so much of it is around hype, right? And that's why it's just like networking is not going to get you booked like that. Like, sure, you might get direct support at XYZ event, but has anyone come out to see you? And this is something that I've thought a lot about this year. Last year I did the Toxic Tour. I think I had 20 out of town, or I had 20 shows, and 16 of them were out of town. Once again, thank you, Maya. And a lot of them were amazing gigs, opening for huge DJs in all these other cities, like Atlanta, Steve Aoki, LA, Side Piece. So sick. I'm getting in front of a lot of people, but they're not there to see me. They're there to see the headliner, right? And that's cool. I'm getting in front of more people, but like, why don't I really put my money where my mouth is and build up this following? And now Denver last weekend was an amazing example. I was honestly pretty nervous. I was like, I like feel like this. I have a need for the show to go well because it's like now I am really pushing myself. Like Sherm's the headliner. You've played in Denver 4 times. You've gotten out in front of people. You think people know who you are, and it went incredible. And I'm about to do that in Indianapolis in a few weeks. I haven't played in my hometown in years. And, I'm excited about it because I'm really going for it. And I've never felt more connected to a headline show because it's like, I just feel like it's full circle. Yeah. And none of that has come from networking with people backstage.
That's a great point. So, follow-up question from Joey. How do you prepare for your sets, especially now that you're the headliner?
Dude, I've had so much fun recently. I went back through playlists from college, okay? So when I started DJing in like 2014, I still have all the same playlists, and they were hilarious. I literally have a playlist called ATO Basement 2014. Oh my God. And I went through that playlist. Half of the songs aren't even locatable on my computer anymore. I like click on it and it's like log into your mom's iTunes. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Not there anymore. But it was really cool. Like I went through, over the years, I go back through my playlist because every set, for the most part, I make a new playlist, even if I'm just taking a lot of songs from recent playlists. Because when I got to Chicago, I played a lot of open format DJ gigs. Never really used a laptop, so I'm always on a USB. So I'm very good at like looking through and reading the crowd and just kind of like working fast. So now how I prepare for sets, especially this last one, I make funny names for these playlists too. You guys should hear some of these. One of them is Headline House Party, right? And it's like, in my mind, that might not make sense to anybody else who logged into this USB. But there's some goddamn bangers on there, okay? And it's like, I'm able to sort of go in mentally, like I bounce around these playlists. And I go back to like a set where it was like opening for Snake Hips at Recess, right? Like, what's a moment I can take from that set? And a lot of times I go into these sets and I haven't played any of the songs. And it's a little bit like, okay, well, let's see how it goes. But that's so fulfilling. Also, if you play a Propa track or Jake Shore track, it always goes well. So, and especially if it's them both on the same track. But how I prepare for sets is like really giving a fuck about it, to be honest. Like, I don't want to just show up, and Joe and I talk about this all the time. It's like people are there to see us. We want to put our absolute best foot forward. So this last headline set I played, I recorded it. I'm really excited to share it. I ripped, oh my gosh, hour and 45 sets, 45 minutes. I must have played probably 80 songs, 60 to 70 or 80 songs. I'm not really sure. And I even, out of nowhere, went into an open format set. There were no mashups. I literally went into Booty, 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 Rockin' Everywhere. Then I went into an A$AP Rocky song. And then I went in, like, it was like literally Fremont 2016 for those. Yeah, right? And it's like, why wouldn't I? Because I love that shit. And people were like, I remember, I say some funny shit on the mic. But I was like, yo, I ain't never seen a set like this before, you know? And people are like, who the fuck is this guy? And then I literally be like, you're probably thinking, who the fuck is this guy, right? And it's really funny because what I try and do with my sets is I want people to dance, but I want them to laugh. I want them to look at their friends and go, I haven't heard this song in forever. I want them to look at someone they haven't met before and be like, you know this song too? You know, I'm playing All Yellow Claw. I'm playing like 4B. I'm playing like, you know, new songs and stuff. And one of the new playlists is like Headline Throwback. And this throwback is not just like Notorious B.I.G. It's like EDM songs that like changed my life. And I play those. And I played like the Rude Zed remix. And this shit went off, okay? Like, it was awesome. So, yeah, I just really try and push myself to be the best performer I can. And the only way I can do that is if I'm playing music that I'm directly connected to and can sing every word, or I'm like, they're not going to believe this. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Do you have a dream festival to play at?
Do
you want to say it out loud?
What?
I don't know. No, I mean, like, some people keep that close to chest.
No, I think that's a good question. I think Chandler asked that, didn't she? Yeah. What's really cool is a lot of the dream festivals, you know, that you think about, like North Coast. That'll be my 6th time playing this year. That was a dream festival for me. I remember I went in 2015 or 16 or something like that. Saw DJ Snake, and I was like, this is it. Like, I'm going to do this. The first real show I went to was 2011, Avicii with Maya. She was super drunk. It was hilarious. She was dancing like this. That's when I said, I'm marrying this girl. You know what I mean? But, like, you realize a festival is, there's so many different experiences of a festival, right? Like, of course I want to play EDC. Of course I want to play Coachella. Of course I want to do this. But what I feel weirdly connected to is going back and playing the festivals that I went to. Like Lollapalooza is, of course, a dream. But like weirdly enough, it's not even an official festival. But when I was abroad in Barcelona, I went to something called a Broadfest, okay? And they had fucking shows all over the city of Barcelona. And there was a lot of Americans, but there was a lot of also European and Spanish people seeing these DJs. And I just remember thinking, that's when I really fell in love with DJing. Like, I know it's cliche to say when I was abroad, I fell in love with DJing, but like I really did because I was like out there. I was not in Bloomington, Indiana at Dunkirk listening to somebody play mashup songs. I was like really in the element. I was like, this is awesome. Like everyone here is so into it.
Do you know the first dance music track that you ever heard that got you hooked?
Yeah, it was Warp 1.9 by Steve Aoki and Bloody Beetroots. It was aggressive. But really the one that got me hooked actually was Dead Mouse Brazil, which is like an 8-minute song.
Yeah.
That one really got me hooked, but yeah, so like just to answer the question, weirdly enough, like a Broadfest is a funny one because I know if I'm playing that festival, I've gotten to a point where it's like I wasn't ever working to play a Broadfest.
Yeah, no, but it's full circle moment.
Yeah, and that's what this Indianapolis show is to me. It's like no one in the world probably plays an Indianapolis shows and go, this is it, I made it.
You do you ride hard for Indiana.
I do.
You do.
I do.
Shamelessly. I'm not saying anything about Indiana. Don't put me
Chicagoans
on
do not understand it whatsoever.
Yeah,
do
we
not
don't.
understand it.
We
no.
don't. It's okay.
That's why I drink Malort, so I can break even, so I can hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
You guys are like, he drinks Malort. It's fine. It's fine. He can wear the Halliburton jersey.
That was one of the questions. Why do you drink Malort so much? And you didn't bring any. I texted him earlier.
I
was
didn't
like,
bring any.
Do not
I'm
fucking
sorry.
make me drink Malort. I wasn't going to do it.
Malort, the whole Malort thing came from Sherman the Booth, too. I interviewed the CEO, Sherman Atkinson.
They are
We
amazing.
got properly sauced at like 1 p.m. on a Saturday. And the CEO is like the absolute man.
Yeah,
and
I love that we can talk shit because it's all endearing. But they sponsored Nexus and gave us so much booze.
There's
I
like
love them.
still 17 handles at my mom's house.
I know.
Literally, it's so much alcohol. But I love Malort. I really do. And I know.
That also makes one of us.
I'm like someone who, I like when I was a kid, I'll tell you a funny story. I was the pickiest fucking eater for a long time. I used to take the cheese and the sauce off my pizza. I would only eat plain butter noodles, plain butter bagels. If there was a piece of parsley on it, I would fucking walk out. And my dad took me to Burger King when I was younger. My brother can validate this story. And he goes, try the hamburger. I took just enough of a bite of the hamburger, the meat on the outside of the bun. I went, I don't know where I'm going with this story. Oh, yeah, Malort. So for me to have been that kid and then literally the guy who was, like, able to drink Malort. I remember the first time I took it, it was at, what's that place on Wells Street? No, not Benchmark.
The Vig?
No, it's called, like, a Dugan's or something like that. Declan's. Thank you, Dan. Declan's. And I had just moved to Chicago. I hadn't even started work yet. And my friend Luke Lesniewski bought me a Malort shot, and I was like, what is this? And we took it, and I took it, and I wasn't scared. I was good. I was like, what is this? It's all right. I like bitter. And ever since then, it's become like a superpower that I think is hilarious that people cannot drink it, and I can. The kid who literally walked out of parsley.
Yeah. Good for you. All right, we got a couple more. Do you ever get imposter syndrome? Or when you first got started, did you ever have imposter syndrome?
Yeah, I think I always wanted to be more successful than I was capable of at that point, really.
Yeah.
That's what you realize along the way. Like, I strongly believe you got to do something for 10 years and really mean it the whole time in order to get to that point where you get over imposter syndrome. Everybody's on their own path to success. It's really easy, though, because in Chicago, you see so many DJs that you were sitting next to at Spy Bar, and the next thing you know, they're fucking massive, right? And it's like, how do you not be jealous or whatever it is, right? But that's not what life's all about. I talked about that recently in Denver on a panel when people were like, what do you think about content and metrics and stuff? And like, look, I think all that stuff is very important. But at the end of the day, the world is not the music industry. The world is your friends and your family and the people that love you. And I'll bring up basketball one more time. Caitlin Clark, legend.
She from Indiana too?
She plays for the Fever. She started with a triple-double. I'm a WNBA fan now. But she was on an interview with Time Magazine, and she got a lot of hate her first year for being great. And they're like, how do you get through all this stuff? How do you block it out? And she says, I don't care about what other people say. All I care about is the opinions of the people that I love and those that love me. And that struck a chord so hard because I, for a long time, was putting a lot of pressure on friends to like come support me. And I realized that your friends aren't always going to be your fans, and they shouldn't have to be. In fact, that's not why you're friends with them in the first place, right? So it's so important to understand that like there's a lot more to this life. That's why I think it's funny when people say you're married. I go, that's not a crazy thing to be married. Like, yes, I'm married. I married my high school girlfriend. Like, what's the big fucking deal, you know? And I just think like when I really think about it, like what matters to me is like the people in this room, my friends, my family, like my process. And that's the most important thing to me.
The world isn't the music industry. It's hard. You get so sucked into the bubble.
Yeah, it's easy. I'm sucked into it all the time.
Yeah. It becomes a thing where you like start to isolate, like, I don't know, but like I'm sure you felt the same way too, where you don't communicate as much with your friends outside the music industry for a while, and you're like, holy shit, they're doing normal people things.
Yeah, Jake Shore and I talk about it, and Susan are firemen friends. They literally have friends that are firemen. I have friends that are like doctors and stuff, and like they won't ask me one fucking thing about music because they don't care.
Yeah,
and I think that's
it's
great,
so
you know.
No,
and
it's so humbling.
You're like it literally. I don't do this anymore, but years ago I'd be like in my head I'd be like, they're not gonna ask me about my gig, really. They don't give a fuck. Yeah. And that's great because, like, to an extent, you might not care about what they're doing, like, in their outside life.
Yep.
So, you know, to each their own. I know that's kind of a brutal perspective, but I do think that's, like, how I've really, like, reached this level of, like, happiness in terms of, like, I'm good with what I got. If music all of a sudden disappeared for whatever reason, I still feel like I have an amazing life.
Yeah, it's beautiful. All right, a couple more. Craziest, weirdest onstage moment.
Oh, I told this story recently, too. Dunkirk, it was, like, my second gig. I was like, this is so sick. And I remember, like, I played an Alesso song. It's so vivid. I was like, I'm peaking right now. Like, I'm literally playing Alesso. There's, like, 30 people here, and it's awesome. Fucking an Italian nightclub comes flying at my face. Open face. Mayonnaise goes all over the CDJs.
Wait, Italian a what?
Italian nightclub from Jimmy John's, number 9.
Oh.
The number 9. Yes, exactly, Shane. Number 9 comes flying at me. And I remember looking up, and it was just this blacked out kid flicking me off. And I was so heartbroken. I was like, first off, I'm covered in mayonnaise right now.
Oh, my God. That's so funny.
And, yeah, so that was pretty bad. Story that I haven't told Maya yet, which is literally from this weekend. Hilarious. We got it on video. These girls to my right, it was ridiculous. They were so hammered. And one of them was like, puts up on her phone, it's my friend's baby shower. I'm like, it's your friend's baby shower? And they go, yeah, can you do something? Like, what am I going to do?
What are you supposed to do?
I'm fucking DJ. It's hilarious. People like try and talk to you while you're DJing. Like, I'm free to chat. Like, I'm not free to chat. And so I get on the mic and I'm like, yo, it's this girl's baby shower.
That's such a Denver thing.
Ridiculous. I go, I don't really know what the fuck she's doing here, but make some noise. We're all really happy for you. We hope your kid's a raver. We don't know. I don't know. And then another round of girls comes in. I did not. No, I'm not going to sacrifice my set.
It's a baby wolf.
But one of these girls writes her name on a receipt. Her name was Maya with her number on a back of an Applebee's fucking receipt. And I literally go, because it was so funny because I was playing Move, the Kind music. I had a remix of that. And I always kind of make fun of the guy, who's getting something tonight, you know? I should stop doing that. And like all the boys in the front, all the boys are like, yeah. And this girl over there starts handing me this. And I go, what am I getting, a fucking love letter right now? I didn't know what it was. It literally was. And I go, I'm married, yo. Like, what the hell is going on? It was so funny. And that's like the really funny part of me performing is I'm literally performing right now, so I keep getting closer to the mic. It's just you never know what to expect when you're DJing, and I mean the absurdity that happens in the booth. Like people think they can do whatever they want. Recently at the Hood Politics party too, this girl who I've never met that said she knew me gets past Officer Thompson. Shout out to Michael J. Thompson. I don't know how she got past her. She gets under the Hood Poly sign that we spent a lot of money on. She hugs me. I'm like, who is this? Like, get out of here. I'm like, what are you doing? She knocks down the fucking sign, disappears. Michael J. lost his voice because he was sick, so he's yelling at me via the Notes app on the iPhone. He was like, who was that girl? She said she knew you. I'm like, what is going on, dude? Like, it's so fucking loud in this booth. DJ Susan is like on the mic like, and you're just like, yeah, this ain't a fucking Toys R Us. And yeah, I don't even know. I mean, those are just ones I remember off the top of my head. They are countless.
That's why I didn't marry a DJ.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
You were strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That girl with the baby shower was so funny. I was like, why are you here? Your baby shower came to, thanks for the support. Like, you got the Larimer Lounge right now. It's 1 a.m. I don't know. I took a picture of the back and sent it to the boys and said, this is funny, and then I threw it out.
That baby's your future supporter, Matt.
Yeah. I was just like, can't believe her name is Maya. That's very weird. And then we were like, we were like making jokes about like, did she look like, how far did she go into this? Like, what number really is this? Somebody said it's probably just a DJ trying to get your attention to sign demos.
That would be clever.
Yeah, like I call and I'm like, hi, is this Maya? Yeah, sure. I'm following up on a demo I sent last week. Oh, God damn it.
Don't give him any ideas.
Yeah, that would be a good one if you want to get the attention of hood politics. Take us to Applebee's.
Yeah.
Take us to Applebee's.
I think that's a great note to end on.
Yes, absolutely.
Congratulations on 250 episodes.
Thank you.
It's amazing. You are a tenacious, go-getting individual. I cannot believe you also have a day job for as hard as you work at this stuff.
Yeah.
You give everything 100%, and we're all very grateful.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much, Olivia. This was really fun. Thank you, guys. And, yeah, to anyone who's watching that made it to the end and supported me, keep watching. We're going to do some big things. I'm really excited about the future of Sherman the Booth. It's going to be, I want to keep doing more live events. That's been the goal, and I've been doing a lot of them, and it's like the best. So we'll keep doing that for sure.
Love it.
Hell yeah.